Hello history students, my name is Joel Jewin and I'm going to be the instructor for you this semester. And I just want to provide this as a brief tutorial to tell you how to get into our D2L site where we will be conducting the majority of the classwork for the semester. How to log in there, where all the assignments are, kind of how the first few weeks are going to go. Pretty much everything you need to know to get your bearings heading into the semester. I'm sure some of you have already taken online courses through D2L in the past. But for those of you who have not, this will be a good way to get everyone on the same page moving forward. So the first step is going to be moving right up here to the login screen and logging into your MyCentury. I'll bring you to a site that looks similar to this. And the next place you're going to go to is D2L Brightspace, right under our quick links here. It might bring you to a page like this where you need to re-enter in your information, re-enter your star ID and password right here, and then log in. Once your star ID is linked to your Century account, it should bring you directly in here as well. So your D2L Brightspace page will probably could look a little bit different than mine. It might look similar since I do have an instructor view. But scrolling down, you'll be able to find all your different courses listed here. I have quite a few since I'm an instructor, but you'll probably have a few less than that. And make sure you go down and look for the course number, whether you're in 1031, 1032, 1035, the section number right afterwards, the name of the course, for example, United States to 1877. So just make sure that you are accessing the right course here. So for this tutorial, I'll be going into a 1031-70 United States to 1877 class. So this brings you to our basic intro screen here. If I want to post any announcements, I'll be posting those right here. However, the primary place that I'm going to be giving out announcements is through your Century email account. So make sure you're checking that frequently, because if I want to let the class know something, I'll always be sending out an email. I may or may not also be posting an announcement. So make sure the primary method of contact is going to be through your email. Also listed here is a quick link to the library. If you want to look up any topics or books, subjects, and so forth, you can do that right over here on the right. And there's also going to be a link to the calendar for upcoming assignments that are going to be due in the class. Now you can click directly on these assignments to get in and complete them. However, I would suggest you go through a different method, since sometimes, for example, the PowerPoint questions, you're going to need to actually look at the PowerPoint before you answer those questions. But this is still a great place to look and see what is due and what is coming up, as well as the date and the time that those assignments are going to be due. Now, the place you're going to want to go to complete the majority of the assignments is going to be right here under Content. Content is where the majority of the class is going to be located. And real quick, I'm going to go down. These are the various tabs and how you maneuver around our course. So I will go down and show you what's located where, what everything means, and so forth. But this is where you're going to want to be going in order to access everything in the class. First, let's look at the course information tab over here. This is really going to kind of be the nuts and bolts of the class and explain how everything works. And the first item is quite possibly the most important. That is the syllabus. Now the syllabus is going to have all the information on the class policies, class information, the various assignments we're going to be completing, how many points everything's worth, and there's also going to be a class schedule towards the end. So pretty much everything you're going to need to know to complete the class on a week-by-week basis is going to be in the syllabus. If you have any questions on anything about the class, going to the syllabus is going to be a great place to look for the answer. There's also going to be a short quiz on the syllabus due at the end of the first week, so you're definitely going to need to read this early on here. The next item down is the class schedule. The class schedule is the same one from the syllabus. It's just an easier way to get to it. Just clicking on this, you'll be able to go right in and take a look at the schedule for a class. As you can see here, it'll have everything listed on a week-by-week basis, when everything is due, and so forth. The last item we have here is class policies. Once more, these are all taken from the syllabus, but it's more of a kind of quick reference guide, not as wordy, broken down by subject, to make it pretty easy to figure out if you have questions on the weekly quizzes, PowerPoint questions, primary sources, so forth. A real quick and easy way to get in and take a look at those, kind of cutting out the most important aspects of the syllabus into a little more user-friendly area. So once more, any questions you have about the class are probably going to be able to be answered here. But if you do have a question that's not answered and you can't find the answer to it, feel free to go ahead and email me or give me a call and let me know. I'm very happy to answer any questions. You can also stop by during my office hours as well to talk with me at any point in time, or just to say hi. I'm certainly love to meet everyone who's in my class on a face-to-face basis as well. The next tab down here is resources and rubrics. So there's a little reading and study tips guide here, just a few tips on going through the semester. Class requires a decent amount of reading, and the reading and study tips guide kind of helps you with that. The final project guidelines, we'll be having a final project in our class, and the guidelines here will tell you what that will all be about and how to complete that. And also another important aspect in the resources are the rubrics. As you can see, the PowerPoint question rubrics, primary source rubrics, and final project rubrics. A rubric is pretty much just a document that tells you how I'm going to go about grading these various assignments. And the PowerPoints, the primary sources, the final project are going to be the three main assignments that I'm going to be grading throughout the semester. The PowerPoints and the primary sources are going to be on a weekly basis, and there's going to be one final project. I don't have one for the quizzes because quizzes are all going to be multiple choice and true-false, same way with the exams. But the assignments that I'm actually going to put a grade on, you'll be able to look at these rubrics and be able to see, for example, looking at the primary source rubric here, the point distribution, how many points you need, and what you need to do in order to get maximum points on these assignments. So a very useful guide to knowing how to get full points. The extra credit tab, when extra credit is available, I will be releasing extra credit throughout the semester. I will be posting that here in the extra credit tab. Nothing available right now, but as time goes on, I will be posting any options I have in here. And then when I do release an extra credit assignment, I always do send out an email to the class as well, so you'll know where to complete those assignments when they become available. From there, let's head into the weekly folders. As you can see, the first few weeks are listed here. I'll usually be opening up weeks a couple weeks ahead of time, so if you'd like to work ahead, you are certainly welcome to. Just make sure that you are turning in all assignments for the week by the last date listed here. In this example, it is August 28th. If this is a different semester, it might be a different date. Just make sure this last date here is when everything is due, and there are reminders beneath the assignments here as far as when those assignments are going to be due as well. Looking at the first week here, first week's going to be a little bit different than our kind of standard week, but it will have many of the same aspects. For example, there's still going to be a PowerPoint, an introduction PowerPoint, and then some PowerPoint questions. So you can go into the PowerPoint here. You can take a look at that. It's going to take a little while to load. It's a relatively large file. You can scroll through and look at the PowerPoint in this viewer. However, sometimes some people, due to their internet connection and whatnot, have trouble viewing it this way. Another good way to do it is to just download the PowerPoint on your computer and look at it that way. Another very useful reason to download and just to look at the PowerPoint on a computer is that you can then bring our class up here in a different tab, and you can answer the PowerPoint questions with the PowerPoint still up, because the PowerPoint questions are going to be in bold red letters throughout the PowerPoint, and will ask you questions pertaining to the PowerPoint. And you'll then, when you're done viewing the PowerPoint, click here to answer those questions. But it's a really good idea to have the PowerPoint still up in a separate tab while you're answering those questions. The next item here is the syllabus quiz. The syllabus quiz is going to ask you a few questions about the syllabus, kind of the more important aspects and requirements, just to make sure we're on the same page moving forward into the semester. So make sure you take a look at the syllabus here before taking the syllabus quiz. Once more, just like the PowerPoint questions, it might be a very good idea to bring the syllabus quiz up in a separate tab when you go in to take the syllabus quiz. The introduction assignment is located right below that. That's different than your introduction post here. The introduction assignment is just to me, the instructor, and it really is just based around telling me a little bit about yourself, your educational goals, anything interesting or anything important that you would like me to know about yourself. That is also going to be worth 10 points and is due at the end of the first week. The introduction post is really for you to talk to your fellow students. We're going to be talking with them throughout the semester in actual assignments. This is not an assignment, but it's a good way to go in and kind of say hi and introduce yourself to the people you're going to be communicating with throughout the semester. And finally down here is our first crash course video. I'm not sure if any of you have seen these before. They're a YouTube video and pretty much cover a wide range of historical topics, so I'll have a link to 1 or 2 videos every week here. They're pretty entertaining. They provide a lot of good information in a relatively short amount of time, do a great job of contextualizing a lot of information, and will really bring in a lot of kind of the topics we'll be discussing through the week and bringing them together. So I definitely recommend you take a look at these as well. Like I said, it's not a requirement, but I think you're going to be glad that you did take a look at them. And as I said, they're pretty fun too. So that is our first week of assignments. Looking down here to the second week, this brings us more to kind of what the typical week is going to look like. Once more, you're going to have a PowerPoint. In this case, it is on the contact era. There are going to be the PowerPoint questions that match up with that PowerPoint. There's going to be a quiz, this time on Chapter 1 from your textbook. So make sure you read Chapter 1 before completing this quiz. And then we're going to be going into the primary source discussion questions. Now the primary source discussion questions, if you take a look at these, are going to be out of our textbook. You're going to have to read the sources listed at the end of the chapter, in this case source 1.1 and source 1.3. So at the end of chapter 1 there are going to be a number of documents listed, and you're going to need to read document 1.1 and 1.3 and then answer the working with sources questions listed afterwards. So if you click on the primary source discussion for week 2, it will then bring you right here to the discussion board, and you can start a new thread to then answer these questions from the working of sources after reading these documents from the textbook. Go to start a new thread. What I'd like you to do then is enter a subject, enter in your name here for the subject, just so I know, who is posting this, and so everyone else does as well. And then you can post your answers to these questions right up here, also located in the textbook, to the documents that you will have read from the textbook. And we'll be doing 1 or 2 documents every week. And there is, once more, a good idea to look at the primary source discussion rubric to know exactly how I'm going to be grading your answers to these questions and so forth. After you have posted, you will then be able to see the posts of all the other students who have posted in class, and you'll be able to then go and comment on their posts and engage in some discussions. You are required to make 1 response to another student before the end of the week. The initial posts here are going to be due on Thursdays. All the other class assignments for the week are going to be due on Sundays. So there's only 1 assignment due earlier in the week, and that is your initial answers to these working of sources questions. Those are due on Thursdays. You will then have until the rest of the week to answer and respond to other students' questions. Your response to another student needs to be at least 50 words, and your answer to each one of these initial questions from the working of sources needs to be at least 35 words. However, it's important to note that your answers are often going to need to be longer than 35 words to fully answer these questions. And if you only put down a partial answer, you're not going to be getting full credit on the assignment. So something important to keep in mind. So those are how the discussion boards will work. And that's kind of what the basic week is going to look like. There's going to be a primary or PowerPoint question, a quiz, and a primary source discussion. You can also get to discussions by clicking on the discussions tab here, and you can see them all listed down below. So that pretty much wraps up my tutorial here. I hope this has helped show you where everything is, how to complete assignments, and so forth. But if you do have any questions on anything, please feel free to let me know, send me an email, stop in and visit me in my office, or give me a call as well. Those are all perfectly fine. Thank you very much for your time here, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you for the upcoming semester.